out here working in the garden. I had to run and grab the camera. Right now, one of the boys came to me and said, "Hey, Natty's having a baby." And I started having like an old man moment. And I couldn't remember who Natty was. I'm like, Natty, who's Natty? All of our cows have already had babies. So I was like looking at him. Finally, he was like, she had piglets. Now we're gonna go see. Oh, look at the little babies. Now I'm on the outside of the pen because she just had these babies. Ooh, there's a lot more than I thought. Well, and I don't know if you saw it right there in that quick image, but it looks like she's lost at least one. Let's go on the other side and take a peek. I'm on the inside of the pen. Monica says she doesn't normally do this. I'm going to give her some space. She's a good mama. Look at all those precious little babies lined up, getting their grub on. I'm going to try to get a count. Let's see how many we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 babies.
7 alive?
7 alive. So the thing is that what we got to be really mindful of right now is it is hot. Very hot. It's probably mid-90s. I don't know exactly when she had these piglets.
She came out from feeding her babies and she got herself some cucumbers. Yeah, she's looking for some water too, I think. Okay, so it's me in here now. I'm gonna grab any of the dead babies out. Oh, there's 4 dead babies. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 alive babies. Yeah. It was a rough morning for her. Man, you know, loss is always a thing. She passed the placenta, which is good. Man, I wish I would have been in here. I probably could have helped save those babies. But you know what? God is good. And these animals do these things on their own all the time. We're going to take care of that one over there. Make sure it's getting able to walk. This is reality on the farm, guys. There is loss when life is happening as well. Okay, go ahead. Where you go?
All right, so we had unplanned delivery of piglets.
We had a planned pregnancy and unplanned delivery.
Yeah, so we were out in the garden, as I mentioned in the intro, and made my way around, and then we were watching her behavior, and she was panting, which is a little bit of a concern for me whenever you see pigs panting.
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure if she just had the piglets. Or if, you know, what was going on. But
she's hot.
Anyway, it's about, what is it?
It's in the 90s. It's hot.
Yeah, it's a bit more humid this year than it normally has been. We've gotten more rain.
Yeah.
And so right now we're trying to be a little bit more mindful of Mama,
yeah,
and making sure that we're getting her what she needs, liquids wise, mud pit, all that jazz.
Yeah, we gave her some cucumbers, and that was good. That she was chomping on those because those are really refreshing. And she made herself some cucumber water by dropping half a cucumber into her water bowl. So that's always good. But no, I mean, just the same with vegetables and fruits that give us nutrients. It's going to be helpful to them. So she got a bunch of cucumbers. She's got fresh water. She's got her fermented feed, which is also more of a liquid feed, and it's definitely good for her. Yeah, I think now we just watch the babies. I picked up a baby in there that was actually like was panting. The baby was panting. And so that was a concern for me. I took it into the mudroom. It peed all over my mudroom floor. And then after kind of moving it around and kind of giving it a little bit of jostling, it kind of perked up. It stopped panting. And so I brought it right back out to the mama. So I don't know if the babies are getting overheated. I don't know what that is. But we are going to keep an eye on them. In about an hour, we're going to come back out and look at them, make sure they're all being fed, and make sure they don't need any help. We try to be as hands-off as possible, which is the reason why we've had Peter and Gizmo being attended to kind of late in the game. We didn't get to Peter or Gizmo until they were at least, one was days old and the other one was a week old. So yeah, I mean, we try to stay hands off unless they absolutely need it. But I will not lose a baby. If I already have 4 of them that were stillborn or died shortly after birth, I am not losing any of these 7. I do not want to. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure all 7 of these babies stay alive.
There you have it. So we'll do a follow-up here in about an hour.
Yep. See you then.
Coming out here to check on Natty again. It's getting even hotter. It's midday, about 2 o'clock, and usually the hot part of Texas is usually right around 4 o'clock, 4:30. It's like the high heat. So we're still a couple hours away from the high heat, and I'm trying to get her hydrated, make sure that she's okay and not panting. So one of the things that we're doing is we had some leftover pickles, and this is really good to rehydrate with all the electrolytes, the vinegar, all that good stuff in there is really good. So a little helpful hint, if you are out in the sun and you want to replenish your energy quickly, you don't necessarily need Gatorade and all that sugar to keep adding to your body, but pickles are wonderful rehydrators, and you really don't need that much either. You can even just drink the juice if you're not a big consumer of pickles, if you will. So I'm going to get this. I'm going to put a little bit more water with it just to kind of put a little bit more in this bucket for her so she can kind of slurp at it. But I think this will be really good for her. So let me go ahead and get this to her and see if she'll drink it or eat it, whatever she likes. Now, one thing that Monica has mentioned to me a couple times is that she doesn't normally come in this pen. She leaves Mama all by herself, lets her do her thing, but I want to make sure she knows that I have something for her. Hopefully she doesn't attack me. I normally don't do this. Hey, Mama. Okay. Look here. You want some drink? Come on. You want some drink? Here, I'll put it right here. I'm trying to keep it out of the sun because it is hot down here, and obviously being in this hot box is not good for her either, but this is really the best option that we have down here. One thing that we do have is good airflow across the top, but she's a little bit angry at me, which is why she's huffing. I mean, you see when I back up, she calms down, but I just want to make sure she has everything she needs because it is hot out here. This is one of the hard parts as a farmer. When you have new mamas like this, and she's not a new mama, but like a new litter, the cows that have new calves, you know, you want to get involved because you care for them and you want to make sure that they're safe, but there's also an element that you just really got to let them do their thing. And you can see I just had the camera in there. She's nursing all of her babies. Her baby's up and about. Everything is really what it should be. It's just hot. So, you know, the instinctual side of me is like, just do something. But the other side of me is like, just leave her alone and let her do what she does. I mean, they're better at this than I am. A lot of times when we look at animals like this that survive out in the wild by themselves, they don't need man to help them. They don't need the assistance of a farmer or a rancher to come out and help them with survival. I mean, especially when it comes to pigs, these are some of the most hardy, strong animals that I think I've ever met. That, I mean, they can take a beating, they can have a dislocated arm, they can have their as you've seen in some of our other videos, they can have their skin peeled back, and yet they still survive. So I'm trying to just keep them at arm's length, give her the options of things that she may need, like some of that pickle water. I want to make sure I put some fresh water out for her again and let her just kind of come and go as she needs. One of the other things that we've worked on is giving her a waller, and the hard part is that when you are where we are with them, they don't have shade all day. So portions of the day they don't have the shade and it's a bit hotter, but you can see here that we've put a lot of water out for her, and you can see by the marks down here, and this is the rooting and the wallering down in here. This is about 7, 8 inches down in the ground. It's kind of hard to tell on the camera, but this is what feral hogs will do to farmers' lands, which is why they don't like feral hogs. But you can see that she is truly getting in here and making herself at home and making sure that she's keeping her body cool. A lot of times people don't know that pigs actually don't sweat. They don't cool their body like we do. They don't pant like dogs to get rid of or expel their heat. Different animals get rid of heat different ways. And so pigs, the way that they dissipate the heat off of their body or to try to cool down is to waller in mud and coat themselves. And so that's why it's important to make sure that you put water out here. So she is in the shade right now with her piglets. And then my big boar is back over in there. And he's in the shade, but he also has a waller if he needs it. So right now, I think the best thing we can really do is just be hands off, be able to let her have the different options to go and do what she wants. I think she's also at that decision point right now where does she need to come out or not. So knowing that she's not coming out makes me feel better because she knows she has the opportunity to come out, but she's not. So that makes me think that she's doing okay. She's the mom. She knows what she's up to, so I'm just going to leave her alone. I will go back and report back to Monica to let her know what's going on. I'm going to double check the piglets, but I'm going to do it from the outside over here, and I'll show you what I'm looking for. Okay, what I'm looking for is the piglets to make sure that they are, and you have to excuse me for the footage. Got to get my camera around here. What I'm looking for is to make sure that they're all okay. They're not panting, because the babies are a little bit different. They can only do so much. They can't go out and four-wheel through mud, so to speak. So I'm trying to be real quiet so I don't upset her. So you can see the mud that we were just talking about, where she's been in the mud, keeping herself cool. Okay, this makes me feel better. Now that I've put the camera in there, I'm able to utilize that to see how the babies are doing. They're all resting. They're doing well. Mama is in there. She's got that coat of mud on her, or wetness. Is a little hard to tell because of the camera angle, but they look like they're doing fine. So the best thing I can do right now is just stay away, let her do her thing. And that's one thing too that I wanted to speak about is with her, she is a great mama. And sometimes you have mamas that you're just, they're a little sketchy. You don't really know whether they're going to be good or not. And then after you start having litters, it kind of comes to fruition as to whether they are or are not good mamas. And right now, I know for sure 100% because she has had so many litters for us. She is a great mama. And I'm going to stay back. I'm going to fight the urge to go in there and just let her do her thing. So we'll follow up again a little bit, probably later in the evening, and see how everything's going. Natty actually came out of her pen, so we're going to go ahead and get her watered down. While Mama is away, I'm going to come in here and look at these little babies. They're all spread out. I'm going to let them rest. Look at these little guys. It's definitely hot. They're all hot. Everybody's hot. Right, she's coming back, so we need to get out of here. I had to get one last baby out. I'm going to go ahead and find my way out. Get over the fence. Yeah, she's not happy with me. Let's see. Alright, she's all checking on the babies. It's kind of fun to watch the way they communicate with one another. Since it's so hot out here, we're going to go ahead and do some research and see if there's a way that we can keep the babies cool. We don't obviously want them in mud. So, of course, Monica's over here doing some research right now to see what we can do. Normally, we intentionally breed our pigs so that they drop their litters on cooler times of the year, because when it's really hot like this, we don't want anything delivering babies. So the calves usually happen in the springtime. The piglets usually around spring or October, November, and down here in Texas, October, November means like 65, 75 degrees, maybe 80-degree days. So that usually works out pretty good. Even our rabbits, we try not to breed them during the summer, just so that they don't have to try to deal with the heat and the babies and everything else. So I think the only things that we really let do what they got to do in this heat is the chickens, and they usually get broody when it gets hot like this. So she definitely likes the pickles. Update on the pickles. She definitely likes the pickles, and that makes me feel good too, because I know that pickles rehydrate really well. So I'm feeling better about that. Maybe we got some more pickles we can give her.
So we left Natty through the night. We checked on her first thing this morning, and then it's been really overcast all day. This is the first time the sun has come out all day. It's been cool. It's in the 80s today, which has been really nice. And let's take a look and see what's going on, and maybe a little bit about what we're looking for with these piglets. You can see Natty is outside of this pen area, and her piglets are out as well. So let's take a look. Look at those babies. Natty, your babies are looking pretty good, Mama. Hello. Her babies are out. They're walking around. That's a good thing. That one's just sitting over there chilling. Their umbilical cords are dried up. They're not panting super heavy, which is great. They're not panting at all. You can see her breathing is more normal than it was yesterday. She's kind of getting things off the ground there. Got some buckets to clean out, huh, lady? She's eating some food off the ground. You can see that milk line right there. It's all her milk that's in. Covered in mud. Covered in mud. All right, let's take a look and see some of these babies. Let's sneak over here. I'm short enough that I can do this. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they're walking around. They're looking pretty good. Let's see if I can zoom in on them. Look at those babies. They look pretty good. I'm looking at this one right here, his eye. He's a little swollen. I'm gonna take a look at him. So with Natty right now, we're really looking for making sure she's not panting. The cool weather has really been helpful. Yeah, we're really happy with the way she looks today. Again, the sun just came out and it's setting over there, which is nice because she has a considerable amount of shade now. Almost the entire pen is shaded right now, so that's excellent. And overall, it looks like we've got, it's been such a nice cool day today. It's going to be a very hot week, and so we will continue to still watch them for panting and just being overheated. But man, for them to have their first day change so drastically from that high heat yesterday to being in the 80s today, man, that was so fortunate. We're so happy about that. That was a really good thing for them.
I think the conclusion is that you just got to let nature run its course.
Yeah.
This mama knows what she's doing. It was hot, but she still did what she needed to do.
Yep.
Which was feed and, man,
I'm
you're
on
just,
an angle anyway.
you're like a Shelby.
Let me get up here. See? No.
There you go. Anyway, now we got the sunlight beaming through.
Yep.
But you know what? All the babies look good. We're just going to let her do her thing. Let her enjoy her meal. And then be ready for this week's weather.
Yeah, the heat's coming. So we're going to give them some more shade. I think I probably have another tarp or something I can put, maybe even extend out of her run a little bit so they can come out and have a little more shade. And I'll continue to make sure they have plenty of water. Do what we can.
And like I said yesterday, these pigs are probably the most durable animal I know.
Yeah.
So if anything can survive the heat, it's the pigs.
They don't like it, but they can survive.
That's right. Hey, who likes good healthy animals on the farm?
Farmers' wives do.
And farmers do too.